Hey guys, Ashlane here, coming at you today talking about assisting in Gods of Olympus. This is going to be a guide to the best methods of assisting your alliance mates, which is a really important part of the game. Now, you can see here Morph is attacking. We're going to go ahead and assist him live, and as we do so, we'll talk about some of the popular elements of assisting, some different strategy methods, some do's and do-nots, and we'll go into more elaborate strategy involving temples and involving monuments. So here we can see that Morph is playing things a little bit safe and slow on this attack, meaning that his gods aren't going directly into the base. So what we're going to do is, you can see there's 5 of us right now defending. You can see up in the top left-hand corner the number 5, followed by another bigger number. That's the amount of alliance mates who are actually helping Morph live right now in real time in this battle. So what we're doing here is building this wall of archers, which is a very popular assisting strategy. If you see a bunch of your alliance mates helping by adding to those archers, you should probably do the same. Now, as we do that, we're going to go ahead and look around the base and look at this archer range here. We can take this out using some of our hoplites. Now, hoplites have more health and do more damage, so it's important to use them whenever possible. Now, a couple exceptions to that, though, is when you're having to deal with a Greek fire tower. They do a lot of heavy damage to close range in a splash formation, so you certainly don't want to go ahead and head into one of those Greek fire towers. But otherwise, try to use the hoplites unless you're using a wall of archers or you're dealing with a Greek fire tower. So as you can see, we've actually helped Morph out a lot. Me and 4 of my other alliance mates have added almost 500 troops to this battle. So we're going to keep picking off these academies. Well, he just charmed that academy. But you can just keep picking off this academy. We'll work on this one up here. And you can see the hoplites. Well, we got victory, so it doesn't even matter. But these are the alliance assistants. My alliance is very active. We have now 100 members, and things are going really smoothly. A lot of people helping out. You can see here, let's take a quick look at my alliance here. Elite Nation, you can see I'm at the bottom of your screen there. I have just shy of 60,000 troops donated, or assisted I should say, and that's only within a 2-week span that I've been playing. So, but there's actually some useful posts on the forums regarding assisting. I'm going to go ahead and link those in the description below, and you can read up on there as well. So let's assist again here, and you can say this time, instead of focusing on the wall of archers, we're going to go ahead and try to pick off the outlying academies and archer ranges. Now, if you're just starting out and you're brand new, or you're helping somebody, assisting somebody who's brand new, there's a Greek fire tower, by the way. Avoid that with your hoplites, okay? But if you're starting out with somebody who's brand new and they're not hitting these more upgraded bases, what you want to do is just go directly for the temples. So you can go for the temples on the new players and help them achieve the win condition. But if you get a little bit more, higher level, then that's where you want to start being a little bit more intricate with your strategy. Now, there's something we haven't discussed yet. Right now, we're just taking it where we've only discussed 2 ways to assist. We've talked about the wall of archers, and we've also talked about the taking out the academies and the archer ranges, which helps a lot overall around the edges. But there's also another thing we want to discuss, another method of assisting. But before we get to that, we should mention, how do you come up with the strength and hit points of your assisting troops? Well, it actually depends on the attacker or the defender, depending on if you're assisting somebody on a defense or an offense. By the way, big mistake there. We'll get to the whole monument thing in a second there, but somebody assisted right into a monument and immediately their troops were totally fried. So we'll get into what each monument is and why to avoid them and when not to avoid them in just a second. But back to the troop strength, right? So it actually is dictated by the attacker's gods. The amount of gods that they have dictates what the strength of the supporting troops are. Also, the average level of the gods. So as they upgrade your gods, even if you're being assisted by someone who's just brand new to the game, their assisting troops are automatically going to get bumped up to the attacker's level. And on defense, it has to do with the level and amount of temples the defender has. Your defending troops will get bumped up to that level, or bumped down if that's the case as well. So it's important to note that it goes both ways. So on this assisting, I told you there was another method, a third method of assisting properly. Now let's pretend that Artemis and Aphrodite are in trouble here. Maybe some defending troops are coming out of the academies and the archer ranges, or maybe they have some defending troops helping them on defense. You can see right now there are no defending assisting troops, but let's pretend there were. You can place your troops just like I did there, the hoplites right on Artemis, and that's going to distract the defending troops and help keep her alive. So oftentimes at the end of a battle, the battle kind of degrades into a circumstance where you're just kind of kiting the enemy troops around the edges of the base using Artemis. So it's smart for the assistant to keep his eye on the battlefield and realize, hey, I have to stop dropping troops on this academy or whatever you're up to with your assistants and change directives to protecting Artemis and the ranged troops. That's often what happens towards the end of a battle, and sometimes people even start out that way. So you have to identify what the attacker's goals are. Here we're going to try to do some damage right to this temple here, but oh, I made a mistake. Look at what I did. I dropped it right there next to a monument, and my troops zapped. So that is a do not. That's something you don't want to do. Now it brings me to the golden rule of assisting in my mind, and that is, unless the attacker lets you know beforehand, maybe in chat, you want to make sure you do not drop your troops before they drop their gods. You want to let the attacker choose where and when to attack, and then you can decide how to assist. Look at this base, by the way, guys. I just wanted to share that with you. I think he's the highest level in the game. It is absolutely insane. I'm going to go to someone a little bit less high in level, and we're going to go ahead and identify their monuments and discuss what each of them do. That way you can know whether or not to avoid them with your assisting troops. It's very important to know what each monument does. So the let's go ahead and let's see if he has them all here. Does he have them all? It looks like he's missing one. Is he missing? Let's see. Aphrodite. He has Apollo. He has Athena. What else is he missing? He has Ares. Let's check his cloud. Oh, there it is. Okay, so he has the monument of Artemis he hasn't discovered yet. You have to discover the monuments, but they each have their own abilities. So the Artemis regularly fires multiple arrows. You have the monument of Zeus, which regularly unleashes a blast of lightning, which jumps to multiple enemy units. You have the monument of Aphrodite with a heart. That charms enemy units, so you definitely don't want to put troops next to the Aphrodite monument unless it's cooldown period. They all have cooldown periods, so it's important to note that as well. Sometimes you can place troops next to a monument, and if you take advantage of the timing there, you can distract it from the gods and use your assisting troops as sacrificial lambs. But that's more in-depth strategy. You have to really be familiar and keep your eye on the cooldown time. Now, the monument of Ares, a lot of people consider the most dangerous monument of them all. So attackers often start their attack going right into the monument of Ares. So that's something to keep in mind there. Just be careful to keep your assisting troops away from these monuments in most cases. So especially the monument of Aphrodite, because you don't want your troops to be charmed and then turn against the attacker. Then you're just doing more harm than good. So now don't make the mistake I just did and put your troops next to that academy. They'll just get zapped by the monument of Apollo. So be very careful when assisting. Sometimes you can do more harm than good if you're not a savvy assister. So it's also important to know what each temple does. Some temples have all kinds of different powers defensively, so you should go ahead and read through all the temples. A good way to do this and familiarize yourself with the different temples' ability and different monuments' ability, because it can be kind of confusing to the beginner, is to go ahead and check out the Gods of Olympus wiki page. I'll go ahead and link that below as well, because there's just a lot of valuable information there, from everything to assisting, to temple skills, to god skills, to the upgrade trees for the gods, just a wealth of information. So be sure to check that out as well. So let's go ahead and go to back to my village, and we'll discuss defense a little bit. So no one's going on defense right now, so let's go ahead and go to my defensive log, and we'll go ahead and watch and see if any of my alliance mates supported me recently, and we can discuss their strategy. You can see I had a pretty rough stretch here, but then some good stretches too, so we're still working on our defense. My next guide will be either covering defense or covering offense, but it will be pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. Let's watch this defense. You can see I did get a lot of help. I believe I had 5 people assisting me. Now, defense is pretty easy. There's a couple general rules, and they are as follows. When you're dealing with melee troops, like you are here with Athena, you want to go ahead and just drop hoplites. They do a lot of damage, like we discussed, and they also have a lot of health, and they distract the melee gods. When you're dealing with the ranged units, it's often better to use your archers. So pretty easy to remember, right? You're going to use your archers against ranged units, Aphrodite, Artemis, and you're going to use against the melee units, you're going to use your hoplites. So most of the time, you'll just be spamming hoplites in the center of the base, and then you can see here, this is exactly what I was talking about. The attacker only has 2 supporters. I have 4 people assisting me on defense here, and look at my defenders. This is an important key. When you're deploying your archers, you're usually going to want to do so along the outside edges of the map, and you want to do so a little distance ahead of where Artemis is heading. You can see this is a perfect example of such a tactic. So defensively, you're going to try to corner Artemis with your troops from the outside, and it works perfectly here. Avoid her using the long shot, sniping down your temples, and hopefully you'll score a defensive win like this. So really quickly here, what arrow gets her? Right there. So you can see those outside archers really helped out a lot. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this assisting strategy guide. I had a lot of fun bringing it to you. If you'd like to see some other strategy content, go ahead and comment below. I'd be happy to bring it to you next time. Thanks for watching, and as always, take care, guys.